morning monorail making its way to the Polynesian Village Resort. Hi everybody and welcome to the World of Micah. Today we are going to be here at the Polynesian Resort where I am going to rent a boat and head out on the Seven Seas Lagoon and Bay Lake with a friend. And I'm going to show you guys things you haven't noticed and secrets of the past. Let's take a closer look. Let's take a closer look. And I'm sure you're wondering who my friend is that's going to be joining me on this boat excursion. Man, there's just something about coming to the Polynesian first thing in the morning. Made it to the Seven Seas Marina for the fireworks cruise that I've done before. It's really cool. They take you out on a boat and you get to watch the fireworks from the Seven Seas Lagoon. Those are a little pricey. And then they have the guided bass fishing excursions. And those can go from anywhere from $270 up to $455 for a 4-hour trip. Now that's a very long trip for fishing. And that's exactly what those guys are doing right over there. They're fishing right over here next to the dock. And for those of you curious, these are the type of fish they have inside Bay Lake. Now you don't have to wear this in the boat, but you do have to have it in the boat with you for safety precautions. Okay, I got the boat. We are on a pontoon. I think this is called a sun tracker, and I know you guys were wondering about who my friend was.
You mind can I tag along?
Hey, Adam!
Can I board this vessel?
Absolutely. We're going on an excursion, buddy.
Is there room?
There's, I think we can get up to 10 people on this thing. 10 people, but there's only 2 of us. So you can have the front, I'll have the back.
Stretch out.
Stretch out.
Love it.
Awesome. Right now we are going over the bridge, heading towards the Contemporary Resort. It's pretty cool to see other passengers on Walt Disney World boats. And we're out here on the Walt Disney World boat, but we are the captains of our own boat. Right now, Adam's driving, so I can walk around and show you guys a few things. But this is so cool. If you've ever driven to the Contemporary, you've gone under this bridge. We're about to go over the bridge. And right there, check that out. A little sign of good luck. The monorail going right in front of us. This is so cool. So back in 1971, when Walt Disney World was first built, they had 2 resorts, the Polynesian Village and the Contemporary Resort. But they had some other plans for a few resorts around Bay Lake and Seven Seas. So right now we are heading towards the famous or infamous Shoe Tree. And if you or your family ever stayed at Fort Wilderness Campground and you've taken the boat transportation either to the Contemporary or to the Magic Kingdom, you've passed by the infamous or famous Shoe Tree, depending on how you look at it. And there's a really cool backstory to this tree with random white shoes dangling on it like ornaments on a Christmas tree. And here it is, the Shoe Tree. Basically, the backstory of this tree is for anyone who works in Walt Disney World transportation as far as boats go. When they retire, they tie their shoes together by the shoelaces and they throw it on this tree. And that's where their memories of all their hard work for working with the mouse live on forever here on Bay Lake. Look at all those shoes. Oh, the stories they could tell. Some of them, getting down in the bottom, look pretty insane how old they are. And I can see some that are kind of new. So we've had some new people retire recently here. So the next time you and your family are passing by this tree, salute the tree, because all those shoes have worked very, very hard for your family. And right over here, they are demolishing what's left of River Country.
Soothing sounds of progress.
It's pretty crazy to see what River Country is looking like right now. As Adam said earlier, this is probably one of the last times we'll ever see some of this stuff. Like this little dock here in the front, that's been there as long as I can remember, and there's going to be a day where I come by and that's no longer there. And I believe they are building a new resort in this area. But look at all the demolition they've already done. That's absolutely insane. So in 1971, when Walt Disney World, the vacation kingdom of the world, first opened, Disney had a 5-year plan. Basically, they were going to build 3 more hotels after the Contemporary and the Polynesian Village was open. They were going to have an Asian and a Venetian resort. Those 2 were going to be on the Seven Seas Lagoon, and the Persian resort was going to be sitting right here where I am on Bay Lake. Straight ahead is the Contemporary, and to the right of it is Bay Lake Tower, a newly developed DVC resort as far as 1971 history goes. And to the right of that, you can see the top spires of Space Mountain and where they are currently doing the Tron construction. Well, that whole chunk of land was where the Persian resort was supposed to sit. And thinking about it, the monorail loop, once it goes through the Contemporary, goes straight into the Magic Kingdom train station. I'm wondering if they were going to make a second loop to go straight to the Persian resort. And I've also seen some renderings online where that monorail loop was going to have a second track and actually go into Tomorrowland, just like at Disneyland. Now, what's cool about this resort, it would have had this huge dome on the top of it that housed restaurants and shops and all kinds of stuff. But that's just so wild to think. Like this, looking at the renderings, this resort would have been pretty insane. The dome that would have sat on top of the resort would have been 24 feet.
That's like 24 feet.
Correct. When do you see the Admiral Joe Fowler on Bay Lake? Well, only when it's going in, I'm guessing for maintenance or something, but it's kind of cool to see it on the backside here at Bay Lake. You normally only see it on Seven Seas Lagoon. On the backside of the Contemporary, right over here, this is Discovery Island, or what's left of Discovery Island. Never got to visit this as a kid. I believed it was closed when my family started really coming to Walt Disney World, but I always wanted to go and visit Discovery Island. All kinds of exhibits and wildlife and little trails you could take.
There's still wildlife on there.
I believe it.
Trust, there's a lot of wildlife.
Probably the wildlife that's not as safe as it once was. Right here, I believe, is where the boat would pick you up if you were visiting Discovery Island. It's all closed off now, but it's still here. The dock and the building are still here after all these years. There's also another dock and building right over here, but I was once told that Roy Disney was supposed to have a cabin, and I believe it was supposed to be here on the same island as Discovery Island. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you guys can see, but we're pretty much looking at the bottom of Bay Lake right there. You can see through the water. How neat is that? It's really not that deep here. Now making our way back over to the Seven Seas Lagoon, a man-made lagoon where back in the 70s and late 60s, they dug all of this dirt and made what we know as the second level of the Magic Kingdom. Not a lot of people know when they walk through the Magic Kingdom, you're actually on the second level, and they used all the dirt here from the Seven Seas Lagoon to mask where the swampiness was, where Magic Kingdom was going to be built. And did you know it's only about 12 feet here in the Seven Seas Lagoon? It's really not that deep. So it's about 2 of you, Adam, if you jumped in.
Yeah, give or take.
Give or take, 2 of you.
My shoulders.
Yep, if you had a twin brother, you guys could stand out here, and one of you could breathe. The other one would have to be under the water. Now, the reason we're over here on this side of the Seven Seas Lagoon is because I wanted to talk about the Venetian Resort that was going to be sitting in between the Ticket and Transportation Center, the TTC, and the Contemporary. And right over here where this land is, this is actually where that resort was planned to be built. Really cool to get this view without riding on the ferry boats. We're just out here by ourselves on our own boat, looking at the vacation kingdom of the world. Pretty incredible. So the original idea was this was going to be the Asian resort before it was the Grand Floridian. Now, this resort was supposed to open in 1974. They were going to have about 600 rooms, including 50 suites. And the centerpiece of the resort was going to have a Asian-inspired tower. They were going to have different kind of shows there, entertainment, and it was going to be utilized kind of like some of the towers that you have over at Bay Lake Tower and the Contemporary, where you can get a bird's eye view. Pretty cool to think that this resort was supposed to be a completely different idea back in 1974. And the first time and the last time I was on the Seven Seas Lagoon driving a boat around with Adam, we visited the abandoned wave machine that was here at Walt Disney World way back in the day. Adam taught me all about this thing. I had no idea it existed, but it was so cool to come out here and see it, and I'm going to show you guys exactly where it's located right now. So right over here is Disney's Polynesian Village, where back in the day, you could ride some waves that were created by this man-made wave machine. And if you get close enough, you can see the bottom right there. That's where the wave machine sat. All that concrete area is exactly where the wave machine would produce waves, just like the ones we're producing from the boat, and made their way to all the swimmers out in Seven Seas Lagoon. And might I add that back in the day, you could actually swim in the Seven Seas Lagoon. Sadly, that is no longer a thing, but the good thing is you can still rent a boat and come out here and drive around Bay Lake and Seven Seas just like Adam and I did today. Well, you guys, I think we've seen everything I was gonna show you out here on Bay Lake and the Seven Seas Lagoon, which means it's time to return the boat, and also it's time to say goodbye. But if you enjoyed this episode, give me a big thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and click that subscribe button because it's free and it'll keep you updated with my latest video. If you would like to support my channel, please visit my Patreon page at patreon.com/World of Micah, where donating $1 a month can help fund episodes just like this. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. The next time you're on the Seven Seas Lagoon, try and find some of the spots Adam and I showed you guys. It'll make the boat ride a little more interesting. And super glad I got to hang out with my buddy from California today, back in Florida. This was a special treat. Be sure to check out Adam's video. I'll put it in the description box. You guys can watch his journey on the Seven Seas Lagoon and Bay Lake with me today. See you on the next episode of World of Micah, everybody. Until then, stay weird. Goodbye.